Hi folks, Dr. Ed Beyer. Today we're going to be talking about autoimmune disease. This is something that is becoming more and more prevalent in our society today, and one of the reasons why is because our immune system is there to protect us against things that don't belong in our body, yet there are just more and more and more things in our environment, including our food has been being changed. There's chemicals in our environment that never really even existed 30, 40 years ago. So really, in fact, our immune systems are working harder now today than they have in the history of humankind. And it's really important that people who have an autoimmune disease, no matter what it is, it could be MS, it could be lupus, it could be Crohn's, ulcerative colitis, Hashimoto's, Graves' disease, it really doesn't matter. There are certain triggers that are causing the individual's autoimmune disease. And it's usually multiple triggers in that person, and they can vary from person to person. Very important that people understand that. Today I'm going to be talking about one of them, and that is gut infections. Folks, every bite of food that we take has microbes in it that don't belong in our gastrointestinal system. And the first line of defense is chewing, and the second line of defense is acid production. So a common symptom that we see in people with autoimmune disease, or one of the triggers, is low stomach acids. They don't produce enough acids in their stomach to kill these microbes, these germs that we eat every time we put food in our mouth. Acid reflux and autoimmune disease, gastroesophageal reflux disease, and GERD are almost always due to too little acid production in our stomach. And I know a lot of people and doctors think that sounds crazy, but let me explain. The stomach is meant to be extremely, extremely acidic. It's built that way. We have these pumps called proton pumps that are pumping hydrogen protons into our stomach all day long, and that's because when the stomach is healthy, the pH should be at 2.0. Now the pH scale goes from 0 to 14, 7's neutral, anything over to the left is acidic, and a pH of 2.0, which is what the stomach should be at, makes our stomach 100,000 times more acidic than water, which is at 7.0. And the reason why is, number one, there's three reasons. The number one reason is to break our food down. So commonly people with low stomach acids, they do not digest their food very well because they don't have the acids there to break it down, especially proteins. And then the food sits there too long, it putrefies, it ferments, and the acids that we do have reflux up into the esophagus. So almost always acid reflux is a problem with too little acid causing the reflux. And then the irony is most doctors are going to put them on acid reducers, which makes a lot of problems. Number one, gut infections. The second reason is the acids in our stomach promote digestion. When the food leaves our stomach, if it needs to be acidic in order to trigger the gallbladder to release bile salts, which are really important for getting rid of hormones and fat-soluble toxins and absorbing essential fats and fat-soluble vitamins. And it needs to be acidic to trigger the pancreatic enzyme flow and sodium bicarb into the small intestine, which is really a topic for another day. But the third reason is the reason why our stomachs are acidic is to kill those germs that we eat every day. And if we do not kill those germs by having proper stomach acidity, those germs are an autoimmune disease trigger. The scientific literature is full of this. So it's one of the biggest autoimmune disease triggers that we see on all of our autoimmune disease patients, and you need to understand from a functional medicine perspective, that's really important to us, and it should be to someone with an autoimmune disease. So, and traditional medicine doesn't look at this. Their answer is to just suppress the immune system with corticosteroids and immunosuppressants, as you probably already know. So low stomach acidity causes chronic gut infections, which leads to autoimmune disease triggers. These could be things like Helicobacter pylori, which is a very common bacterial infection, and someone can go on antibiotics and get rid of it, but if they don't have proper stomach acidity, it's just going to keep coming back each time they eat. Stomach viruses, parasites, and yeast overgrowth. So proper testing is crucial. There's a lot of bad gut or stool testing out there. It really needs to be done proper. A lot of testing misses it. So some of the symptoms, if one is wondering, hey, do I have a gut infection? Do I have an acidity problem that could be maybe triggering my autoimmune disease? Bloating after meals is a very, very common symptom. Acid reflux, because the food sits there too long, as I mentioned, and it refluxes up into the esophagus. Gas after eating, malabsorption, you can look at your stools and see if there's food in them, or fatigue and nutritional deficiencies, and motility problems, usually constipation, but sometimes can lead to diarrhea. So causes of low stomach acidity are poor brain function. The vagus nerve from the brain is the connection, the autonomic connection between the brain and the gut. It drives our gut to make, our stomach to make stomach acids, amongst other things. Very inflammatory diet, which is, folks, the standard American diet, super inflammatory. And taking things like proton pump inhibitors, Prilosec, Nexium, omeprazole, pantoprazole, you name it. So these things will actually inhibit the production of acids. It may make someone feel better because it kills the acid up here, but it makes the whole pH of the gut bad, and that causes a lot of issues. I'm Dr. Beyer. I hope that helps. Have a great day.